Okay, good evening, everyone. I want to invite all of you that wish to join the council to stand for our invitation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Matt, would you give our invitation?
Most holy and blessed God, and God alone. Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for the ability to be able to assemble in this hall to make best decisions for the city of Hartsville and all of the citizens. Lord, please give us a mind and a heart to do what is best for all who are concerned. Please allow us bless and in the Son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Please be seated. Okay, this time, Chair will entertain any motions for approval of the minutes. Motion, Chair will entertain a motion to waive the reading and approve the minutes of February 13th, 2018. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by nay. The ayes have it. Presentations this evening, we have recognition of new hires and promotions. It's too bad. So we'll move right into the best part of the evening, which is Girl Scout Week. I'm sorry that we didn't have anybody from the Girl Scouts show up to the meeting tonight to celebrate Girl Scout Week. So we'll move right along to the next item on the agenda. There's an objection on the floor. Please state your objection. We have plenty of Girl Scouts. Oh, there are Girl Scouts? Will they please stand? Because I couldn't see any of them. Oh, there they are. Come down closer and we can see you then.
Go ahead.
So, no, come down. Come turn around. You want to come up here? Come up here. This will be a lot more fun here. Here, we'll move everything out of the way. So, we also have with us the assistant to the city manager this evening. We're glad to have Ms. Ziegler with us tonight. And so, she's sticking her tongue in. Oh no, that's good. Tonight we're going to vote to make her the mayor pro tem. So we made this special recognition for you with the help of your troop leaders, and we wanted to give it to you to recognize. Does anybody know who Juliet Gordon Lowe is? Who's Juliet Gordon Lowe? The very first one? Do you know when she was the first Girl Scout? 1912. That's like older, that's almost as old as Mr. Andrew. Maybe it's older. Is it older? Barely. So isn't that cool that she came up with this idea to be Girl Scouts, and 100 years later, here you all are as Girl Scouts? So you're Girl Scouts and Brownies? No, all Girl Scouts. Brownies and Girl Scouts. What's the difference between the brown sash and the blue coat, the blue vest? Oh, that's a daisy? Well, that's pretty awesome. So daisies get to put their patches all over their, and on their back. Should turn around and show them the one on the back. Good gracious, look at all those. That's amazing. Awesome. So can I be a Girl Scout when I grow up? It's just for girls. That's not fair. Can I be an honorary Girl Scout? I mean, like, I'm just going to pretend. I won't get a sash. You let me do it. That is so nice of you. Cool. All right, so we wanted y'all to have this, and we want you all to come down here and take a big picture with it. Well, you do want us to hold this. All right, you want to all hold it and come down here and pose in front of the big city seal so that they'll put it in the newspaper. Isn't that right, Jim? It's They're just so quiet over there. Okay, I'm not gonna ruin your picture. I'm just gonna stand here and watch you guys. Can you hold it up? Show everybody, let them take a big picture.
Here she is with the flag.
That is awesome. So you know what? You don't have to stay through the rest of the boarding meeting unless you just absolutely want to, or unless your mother works here. And if you follow her, she can take you upstairs and show you all the Disney movies. Oh, she's right. Thank goodness. Okay. So thank you all for coming. Are y'all going to come back and see us? Because the next time we've been talking about this for a year, an unfulfilled campaign promises. We have yet to make a special patch. But we're going to make sure that the city manager gets adequate funding from State Farm Insurance as a sponsor. And we're going to make city patches so the next time you come back, you get a special city patch for your sash. Is that cool? Okay.
Are you all brownies?
Daisies and brownies.
So what's the
And Girl
name?
Scouts.
Here's a form, Brown.
They're in kindergarten or first grade.
Okay,
And then the brownies are in second and third grade.
and then there's junior.
And we have one junior who's in fourth grade.
Oh,
All right.
You tell them, ladies.
Claire, don't go. Don't leave.
Good job, ladies.
No homework. The mayor says there's no more homework.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Okay, next. Man, I apologize to you professionally, good sir. That is probably the worst position to put you in to have to follow.
It's the hardest show I'll ever follow.
Yes, sir. Our economic developer, Mr. Frank Willis, is here, and so Greg, we just introduced him. Would you like to come up and give us an update?
Mayor, members of council, city manager. I appreciate the invite and the opportunity to visit with you this afternoon. My instructions were to give you an update on what economic development is taking place in the county, but also just to talk a little bit about economic development in general. And she was very insistent that I be brief. So let me say this to you, Mr. Mayor, and members of the audience. Remember this: there are only two ways that you can increase funding for city government. Number one, you can raise taxes. Number two, you can do economic development. Every penny that you spend on economic development is a penny spent to stop higher taxes. And there's nobody going to criticize you for that.
Thank you for coming, Frank. That was all we needed to know right there.
I thought that would probably come to something pretty good. But that is very true. It is those two things are the only ways that local government, both city and county, can raise. You've got a few more options. You've got sales taxes and other things than the county has. But basically, the two ways to fund local government is either raise taxes or do economic development. Darlington County now has, we have two certified industrial parks, and we have a third park that belongs to the city of Hartsville that we're in the process of getting certified, I think. Well, you're in the process though. Yeah, okay. So we will very soon have 3 certified parks in Darlington County in order to attract industry, and I say that for this reason. Mr. Mayor, when I started this job 5 years ago, there was not a single industrial park in Darlington County. We had nothing to show industry. My budget, well, we won't talk about my budget.
I didn't even think you had a budget.
Well,
I remember you having to bring your own paper clips and.
well, my office is furnished strictly with my personal furniture. The county doesn't furnish anything. In fact, the county pays only my salary and my project manager's salary. Everything else is paid for by an organization called Darlington County Progress. Darlington County Progress is a private sector group made up of business, industry, and individuals who support our efforts through a dues structure. When I started again 5 years ago, Darlington County Progress had $8,000 in the bank. Today we've got $350,000. We've come a long way in 5 years. We've got a long ways to go. As I started to say, when I started 5 years ago, my budget, there was no money put into my budget for marketing, for the simple reason I didn't have anything to market. If I called you, Councilman Friday, and said, come on down to Darlington, let me show you what we've got, I didn't show you. So there was no sense in us spending money to market when we didn't have anything to show for. That's drastically changed today. We're spending roughly $30,000 to $40,000 a year on marketing over the last 2 years. We market Darlington County through our website, through the website of NISA, the Northeast Strategic Alliance, and through the website with the Department of Commerce. Those are our primary ways of letting people know what's available in Darlington County, both nationally and globally. We're right now, we closed last fall on Fiber Industries and reopened the old Wellman plant. They will open, they are open, they will start producing product next month, in April. They're going to hire somewhere around 135 people. Their capital investment right now stands at about $30 million. We think that number is going up both in terms of capital investment and in the number of jobs created. Along those same lines, we brought Birdsong Peanuts in here a couple of years ago. Birdsong committed to a $47 million capital investment. They have yet to meet that, but I talked to them Monday, and they fully expect to meet that goal within the next 2 years, which is their time frame. So we're looking for, they're going to invest $47 million and 55 jobs. So that's coming. We still have a project that we've been talking to for about 2 years now in our industrial park at I-20. If it comes to fruition, and I think it will, it'll be a $100 million investment and will generate 600 jobs. 600 jobs, folks, at Darlington County is a big deal. I had the privilege of speaking today to the PD Realtors Association in Florence. And when you talk about 600 new jobs, these folks' eyes light up. That's business. It's growth. It's an economic engine for all of us. And it's a big deal. We have to be more diligent. We have to work harder. We have to make people understand that what you do impacts what we can do. Your success, the way you develop your community is critical to whether I can attract people to move here or not. And I'll tell you this, you do a fine job. Always do more, but you do a fine job. In addition to that, you probably all have heard about the inland port coming to Dillon. The inland port, if everybody's speculation is correct, and I say divide it in half and it's still great. The inland port is going to be a real job generator for the PD area of South Carolina. We don't have a big population base here, so we don't get a lot of attention from commerce. We don't get a lot of attention in any of the statewide elections because we just don't have a population base. But folks, let me tell you, the inland port will change the face of economic development in Petey Ridge. I don't know how far it'll take us, but it will change the face of what we've been doing. We're looking forward to it. We're working with the ports and with the other counties and other agencies to make sure that we've got the infrastructure in place. And I commend you and your city manager for having understood that, you know, if Johnny, if you got 500 acres of land out there, it's just 500 acres of land. If you got 500 acres of land with water and sewer and radio, you've got something. We've got to have the infrastructure, and that requires investments of money. And you have been willing to do that. You've shown your commitment to it. I applaud you for that. One of the projects that we're working on that I think this has the potential to bear great fruit, because it's not going to cost us a great deal of money. I say a great deal of money. It's probably going to cost us $50 million instead of $100 million. I want to develop the 151 corridor from the racetrack to the city of Hartsville. You've already got a 4-lane highway. You've already got water. You've got direct access to I-20. You've got access to water and sewer through both the city and through Garland County Water and Sewer. There's a significant number of existing businesses already in that area, as well as some residences, but as well are some very large acreages of land that are available for development. I know one tract of land that's very close to the city of Hartsville. It's 500 acres. And amazingly, it has very little wetlands on it. These are opportunities we can't pass by. What makes the 151 corridor so attractive? Water's there. We've got to get sewer. That's the big expense. But the 4-lane highway is there. The access to the interstates is there. The access to the city of Hartsville is there. Access to Garland County Water and Sewer is there. I think it's a no-brainer. I think that's the easy apple to get you pulled up. It's an opportunity, I think, for us to do a real knockdown deal. Mr. Mayor, that's my spiel. I applaud you again for the work that Hartsville does, your contributions to Darlington County, and particularly your understanding of what economic development requires. It's not easy, but it's not rocket science either. What it really requires is all of us working together.
We appreciate you taking the time to come.
So,
Say that if you never ask, then you'll never get anywhere. You won't get the answer. So I'm trying to get the Mayor Pro Tem to ask Duke to put a second nuclear reactor up at the lake, but he's kind of scared to do that.
I wish you'd think a little bigger.
Bigger. Maybe a third. So thank you. We do appreciate your outlook on the corridor. It is interesting. When I was growing up, you have Legs, which is now occupied by Sunoco, I guess, and Anderson Brass, and some existing kind of commercial facilities, like the hospital and so forth. So it's a question that I always scratch my head about, and I'm glad that you hit on.
Well, I think it's just a natural for us to develop that corridor. I mean, all of the ingredients are there. So,
Well, again, whatever we can do, Natalie can do, just holler. Yes, sir.
and I invite any of you, if you've got questions, or you want me to come over and sit down and talk with you individually, all you got to do is give me a call. I spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to make some things happen. As a consequence, that's bottom line, that's sitting in my often scratching my head, so I'm available quite often.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, appreciate you taking the time to come.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Madam Manager,
I just, a reminder, about the deadline coming up, I think 3 to 7 are already filed, but just want to keep y'all, on the right side, and go ahead and file your statement of economic interest, please. That's
I was gonna say, does that leave, if you did yours?
it.
I think
You're
I
not
did
past the
mine.
deadline, just a
Johnny, I
reminder.
know you
This is-
did yours.
This is the last meeting before.
Do you have a list of who has? Am I on that list of has? How am I not on that?
Because you haven't done it.
Oh, save that. Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem, I'm gonna file my thing real quick if you. Anything else that you wanted to?
No, that's it.
Items on the consent agenda will be received as information without objection and stand approved. And unfinished business, item 6 on the agenda, public hearing and final reading of ordinance 4324. If the manager will publish the ordinance.
An ordinance of the City of Hartsville, South Carolina, amending and restating section 10-38 of the city's code of ordinances as most recently enacted by ordinance number 4291 dated June 13, 2017, amending and restating section 54-67 of the city's code of ordinances, amending and restating section 10-91 of the city's code of ordinances, amending and restating section 10-96 of the city's code of ordinances, amending and restating section 42-108 of the city's code of ordinances, amending and restating section 46-76 of the city's code of ordinances, and other matters related thereto.
Okay, you've heard the reading by title and presentation of city manager. At this time, the chair will move to open the public hearing. If you'd like to be heard on ordinance 4324, if you'll rise, state your name and address, come to the front. Please limit your comments to 2 minutes or less. Hearing that there are none, the chair will move to close the public hearing and entertain any motions from the floor. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to pass ordinance 4324. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Madam.
Mr. Mayor, with this, new ordinance 4324, we have spoken in depth about the intent and best practices. I would ask that we be allowed to make amendments as needed where, the International Property Maintenance Code and state law and best practices that we find work that will be given.
So to address your question, by rule, any ordinance can be amended at any time. So that should cover your request.
So it's like,
Stated for the record.
Stated for the record.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. If there are no further discussion, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by nay. The ordinance passes. Item 7 on the agenda, public hearing and final reading of ordinance 4325.
It's approving and accepting grant monies from the Ireland Foundation, authorizing the conveyance and transfer of certain real property and other matters relating thereto.
Okay, you've heard the reading by title and presentation of the city manager. This time the chair will move to open the public hearing. If you'd like to be heard on ordinance 4325, if you'll rise, come to the front, state your name and address for the record. Please limit your comments to 2 minutes or less.
Front up there, are they Girl Scouts?
No, sir. You're special. Not that you're not.
Apparently not.
No, sir.
Greetings, my name's Marty Brand of 544 West Home Avenue. 2 comments. From what I can perceive what's happening in this project, I think it's amazing. I think it's going to be great. I've seen Mr. Welch's work online, and if that's what's going to happen over there, that's tremendous. I have 2 questions. What are your options if a property owner won't sell their property? I don't know if that can be answered here, and maybe I'm.
We tase him to start with.
All right, that was my first thought.
Sometimes that's a bad thought.
Because it appears that the city owns about half of the property in what I perceive as a designated area.
I think we have options on just about everything.
But what are your options if someone says, I like my property?
No, I mean, we have options to buy on everything.
Okay.
We haven't executed but a small portion of those options.
Can any of this project, the concept of it, be applied to other parts of the city?
That's an interesting question. What we're really asking ourselves is, can any of this project be applied to small towns across America? That's the bigger question that we're driving at. Not to get into a dissertation on this, because I'm by far an expert and more of a student, but what we're trying to understand is what grows, sustains, and attracts people to small town America, and more specifically small town South Carolina. So to just sustain Hartsville is probably not enough in the grand scheme of things. We need other places to also prosper. You know, we need Darlington to prosper, for example, because it strengthens our county. We talked about how cities are the economic engines for the county in a lot of ways. So just Hartsville grows, that's not really helping the county as if both cities were to grow. So it is feasible that this project could happen anywhere. But I think in order to be successful, we're capitalizing on a couple of things. One is mixed use environment. So we're talking about the same thing that exists down here, which is retail with a mix of residential and commercial, kind of all blended in. That natural growth kind of comes from the center out. So could you replicate the concept of this development on Highway 151? I'm sure you could. Would it give you the same density that you need? Absolutely not. So what we're trying to do is grow the downtown and the city in a meaningful, logical direction, not to leave out the importance that we have talked about, which is infill development along 5th Street. So just because we have a new project in a place that is has a lot of potential for development doesn't mean that we need to forget to work on 5th Street and infilling between the businesses as we grow out from this core of 4 or 5 blocks. It's been pretty successful.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, please.
And I know I've talked to some of you about this issue. We live on West Home. We also own a home on East Home in the 500 block, which in my opinion should be a great block because it's what connects downtown Coker and Sunoco.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the block. There's one house on that block that could bring the whole block down, and I see it getting worse. And so I don't know if any of this Byerly money could be applied to individual properties throughout the city. And then my other question goes back to the last ordinance about.
To answer the first question, it's specifically directed towards this district. But, and maybe that's why you were asking, like, does one location hold up the whole show? And I don't think that it does. You know, I will tell you just as a side comment, the block that you're on, there is a lot of interest in, and we've spoken with a lot of different developers and people that are interested in the proximity to the college and co-locating next to Sunoco. So I think if one of those projects takes hold, you'll see some transformation in your own block, for sure.
And the last question, which ties into this and the last ordinance. Just something I want to say so people can think, I don't know what the heck you do. This house has been cited more than once for not meeting city ordinances.
Let me stop you there, because that's outside the parameters of the discussion of the canal district.
Okay, can I tie it back to the last ordinance, or is that?
Go ahead.
My question is, you can cite them for things that might cost $10,000 to repair.
Mhm.
If they don't have $10, they obviously can't repair the deficiencies. And I know you don't want to kick them out of their house because that's not good.
Right.
I just don't know, I don't know that anybody does. I don't know what you do in that case. You know, if they don't have the money to fix it, they just say, oh, well, we'll just let it continue to fall apart.
So, yeah, so I tell you, if you would go to the back of the room and talk with our codes enforcement agent, you get a better perspective on maybe paths forward that, would help you. But it is outside the scope of what the public agreements. But thank you for your interest in the Canal
I
District.
appreciate it.
I think that it is going to be a wonderful opportunity for a lot of small towns to see how we can organically grow density into a downtown. And in layman's terms, we need people to support restaurants and retail. The closer we get those people to restaurants and retail, the greater probability that they have to survive. And we grow the city contrary to what other cities are doing. So, moving a Walmart to a bypass will help cripple your downtown in many ways, some would argue. So we're trying to strategically grow the city in a way that we believe will add tremendous value and quality of life.
Just from my personal perspective, I think the fact that Walmart and Lowe's and places like that are essentially downtown is
Right.
tremendous, much better than most other cities.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that, because to some it's like it's too far out, and you think it's
I think it's downtown.
right downtown, yeah. And if we were in Columbia, it would be closer than just downtown, it'd probably be in downtown. Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you for coming. Thank you, Mark. Anybody else wish to be heard? Madam, please.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
Hey, my name is Randy McCoy. I reside at 535 Corner Drive, which is in the county.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't have to list the what has the city discussed about implementing economic prosperity in South Hartsville? Because I hear a lot about like 4th Street, Walmart, and I understand the importance of that, but at the same time, we're going to kind of trickle it down towards people who don't have transportation to get to those places.
So, interesting that you mentioned that, because we had a pretty long conversation today as an aside about some of the challenges with development, specifically in that area, and the fact that over 30%, Brendan, I always mess this up, 30% of the people that live in that district do not have transportation in the household.
That's correct.
Reliable.
Or even, yeah. But this hearing is about something that's a little different than what you're asking. And I don't intend to not answer your question. If we could just meet at the break.
Sure.
And we could talk about kind of what the city is doing and some plans that exist. And then maybe give you a better time frame. I think what you're saying is that there's some plans that exist, but maybe it's not happening at the speed which you would prefer.
It just seems that that area is often neglected,
Sure.
or it's either neglected or it's kind of set to the back burner.
Yeah. So I can tell you that I don't think our body.
And I understand, the county and the city limits. I understand all that.
Yeah. So there's some different challenges down there
Right.
about limestone. I don't think that this body has forgotten that point. And I do think that we have some substantial challenges which make the turning the corner a lot more challenging. But I'll tell you, we had a conversation this morning about future development and how that might work and what that might look like. And I'd love to kind of introduce you to some of our team that can help answer some of these questions, and also tell you about some things that maybe you didn't know were in process.
Yeah, because I was a little perplexed with the city building, they're next to the water park or whatever. But the alcohol part of it.
Right, so that's also kind of not what this hearing is about. But we could talk about that too if you want.
Sure.
So we're going to have a break here kind of in just a few minutes. And then I'll be glad to tell you, you can meet the whole team, and better yet, we can try to get you involved.
Okay.
And that would help
And
immensely.
I believe you may be applying for one of our community positions, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
So
which
we
one?
should see.
PDRTA.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the Hartsville 2020.
Bless your heart. Okay, so, yeah.
I was just gonna say, Ms. McCoy, thank you for coming and joining us, and in addition to, as I already know you, Dr. Stewart, but, in addition to, I think myself, Mr. Andrews, and Ms. Mack all have committees that are dedicated to South Hartsville in a way, to help equalize everything, for lack of a better word, but, I think there's some different steps and processes to go along with everything that we've got, so we need all the help we can, and the voices that care about the places to speak up and say things too, so thank you.
And you know, the other thing that, that he brings up, he's on a committee that is about educating the people in and around Hartsville about these things. Because maybe you come in here and don't know that anything is happening because you don't, see it firsthand. And the more that we can communicate what we're trying to do, what we have as our tools, and then getting you involved, I mean, the more we get to educate people and gain momentum. So we'll meet you at the break, and thanks for applying. Go find 5 other friends. Bring them in, kicking and screaming, and we'll sign them up too.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anybody else wish to be here? Okay. Hearing none, Chair will close the public hearing. Entertain any motions from the floor.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to pass ordinance 4325.
Okay.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Just an aside, Mr. Mayor, talking about density that you mentioned just a few minutes ago, and I've shared this with you and maybe the city manager. I ran across a map of Hartsville in 1936, and the city limits was 3/4 of a mile in a circle, and the population was 7,500 people. 2018, our city limits are much bigger, and the population is 7,900 people. So the density in 1936 was much greater than the density there is now. So that's one of the things we're working on, is to get the density in the downtown area as a way to the whole area to prosper.
I couldn't agree more. Madam?
I want to address the, kind of the same issue that Ms. McCoy had, and where she's talking about kind of outside of the city limits, but I'm talking about the historic Butler district, which is smack dab in the middle.
All right, let me, is it discussion pertaining to the ordinance that we're, okay, please continue.
Yes. I would like to see us put the same efforts into the infill development and other properties in the historic Butler district. I'd like to see more assistance and not just saying citizens unite. Because citizens unite do not always know what to do to bring a project to fruition. And it seems that when you and maybe the city manager and other staff, when you stay connected to a project, it gets done. So we're gonna need a little bit more, we're gonna need some more help from you all to see the historic Butler district, which is called formerly South Hartsville, to see those things come to fruition and manifestation, because we've seen it in graphs, we've seen it in pictures, we've seen it on charts, we've seen it on scale models, and it is not tangible yet, so that we can actually see, touch, feel, all of that. So I would appreciate that consideration.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anything else added by council? Okay, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. The ayes have it. Item 8 on our agenda, public hearing and final reading of ordinance 4326. The manager will publish.
It's an ordinance approving an application for a special property tax assessment for historic property 110 East Carolina Avenue, tax map number 05606020018, and other matters related thereto.
Okay, you've heard the reading by title and presentation of the city manager. At this time, the chair will open the public hearing. If you'd like to be heard on ordinance 4326, if you rise, come to the front, state your name and address for the record. Please limit your comments to 2 minutes or less. Hearing that there are none, the chair will close the public hearing and entertain any motions from the floor.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to pass ordinance 4326.
Okay, there's a motion, is there a second? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. The ayes have it. Moving into new business, resolution 3-18-01, resolution for approval of the bid award of paving contract on West Mantissa Road and parking lot area in the city of Hartsville. Is there such a motion?
I make a motion that we pass resolution 03-18-01.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Mayor,
Matt, sir.
other than the paving, you know, in some of the past emails, we discussed maybe a little creativity like we did on East Mantissa. Any input on that so far, or are we just gonna start with the paving and see what shakes out from there?
I think that the finances are dictating the project in this manner. Because the last one was a part of the multi-county business park extension, so we had a little bit of flexibility in the finances. On this one, we have to remediate some of the issues that are developing. I do think that it's the intent of the city, obviously, to carry that same aesthetic all the way through. But at this time, we just don't have the means of.
I believe the paving is gonna be a big deal.
Parking
it's gonna be a
Beautification asked us to get a quote as well for the parking lot by the library. They have a little bit of a fund balance right now, not a lot, but that quote just came in today, it's being passed along to them.
And some
It
of,
was roughly $50,000.
And they're covering half the cost of the Mantissa Road parking lot as part of the venture. But the road, they are covering half the cost of that parts beautification.
And Mr. Braddock, in the 2030 comprehensive plan, on cultural subcommittee, we are looking at that and making some suggestions. We don't have the money, but we're making some suggestions as to how that can be developed.
Thank you.
okay, anything further? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. You guys have it. Item 10 on the agenda is the first reading of ordinance 4327, Mayor Joe published ordinance.
To amend Hartsville Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, zoning, Article 6, general provisions, Section 7, off-street parking and loading by adding H, bicycle parking, I, surface and markings, and I, accessible parking for disabled persons.
Okay, you've heard the reading by title and presentation of the city manager. This time, Chair will entertain any motions for adoption.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to pass ordinance 4327.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Madam?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
what can we park in the half space? What?
Butterfly.
Brandon, do you want to come up to the front and talk about this ordinance? Thank you.
I was hoping golf cart.
Well, we had that for elderly people not know.
Which one were you asking a question about?
The half space,
Half space, what can we park in the half space?
So motorcycles, or if you'll see on this one, we added bicycle parking where we didn't have bicycle parking before. As people are trying to get healthier, we talked about our bike paths and how we need to increase those. A lot of people do ride their bicycles, so we did add parking spaces for bicycles. So bicycles and motorcycles can use what's considered half spaces.
so
Well, that's what I thought, but I see here public housing elderly, one half space per unit.
Right, so really it is decreasing the number of spaces that are required because oftentimes in your elderly housing, you have people that are not necessarily driving. So instead of having 5 parking spaces, now you would have 3 parking spaces. So it's just really kind of reducing the number of parking spaces that are required for those particular units.
So there might be 10,
So it's just saying,
10 spaces for 20 people.
right,
It's not
right,
saying
it's not
that
saying the
spot.
space itself is,
this is for planned developments.
no, this would be for any type of units. When we're, so what we have right now is for most of our parking, we have too many parking spaces.
Right.
So what we have is a minimum as opposed to a maximum. So what we're trying to do is reduce the amount of impervious surfaces that we have. So we're trying to decrease the number of parking spaces that are required for various types of areas, and elderly housing being one of them, because generally you're going to have less of new people driving, so there won't be as many parking spaces like.
Is there anything?
In the public housing elderly, space per unit, have we looked at those numbers to determine who has a vehicle and who does not?
Well, we looked at those numbers to determine the overall population that have vehicles. And generally, it works out, I mean, these are the standard numbers for that type of housing, is to, lower those numbers. So it's pretty accurate.
I just wanted to make sure that, because I didn't know what a half space was, and then I want to understand how, public housing elderly, that would be, Asheville, which part? Is public housing?
It's public housing, but it's not necessarily elderly housing. So the only elderly one that we have right now is the one for Magnolia. No. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a?
I'm sorry. Excuse me, Councilman Gaines. I do apologize. I thought originally you were asking about bicycle parking, so thanks for the clarification.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is there, you mentioned the housing authority, is there spaces or locations that you have in mind to immediately implement some of these changes with ordinance?
Okay, so what is this right now is Red Box.
Okay.
This would, what we're presenting tonight would be for new developments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, the one thing that would apply to existing businesses would be the one that allows you where it was 400 feet if your share spaces, the 600 feet of the share spaces, that can change immediately because that's an agreement between property owners.
Okay.
But the rest are for new development.
And so, last question, so for a new pavement, if Manchester Road's getting paved and the parking lot is too, would they still be grandfathered in, or would they come under this new ordinance?
Manchester Road is being paved.
Well, it's
It is this right now.
an existing parking lot.
It's being resurfaced.
Okay.
Which is being resurfaced.
Yeah, it's just being resurfaced.
Gotcha. Okay.
Where does the 500 square feet come from
Where are you?
for retail?
I'm sorry, tell me what.
Section 7A,
It's in there twice, or 2 or 3 times. Retail business, 1 space per 500 square feet.
first page of ordinance, I guess.
And then there's shopping center, 1 space per 500 square feet of gross leasable floor area.
Okay, so are we speaking of bicycle, the bicycle section or a different section?
This is just in the initial ordinance.
Off-street parking.
Our original one.
Yes,
Okay, section A,
yes.
what number?
10.
Number 10.
Well, more specifically, let's
Well, that's
say
again,
16.
in that effort to reduce the number of parking spaces that are required. Because right now, what you have is 1 space for each 300 square feet of floor area.
Where does is 500 arbitrary? Does it come from a study? How did we come about this number specifically? Recommended by a consultant,
It was recommended by a consultant, yes.
so not sure where he got it from. Okay, that's food
But
for
it
thought.
was in an effort in order to reduce the number of parking spaces because again, what we have is a sea of asphalt in a lot
Yeah,
of situations
so
that aren't necessary.
I applaud you and your team for that effort. One of the first kind of, in that discussion that we had today about urban design and development, one of the first lessons that, I learned personally 3 years ago, is we have the exact same, if not more, square footage of asphalt that we do for the existing building if you take like big box retail. And this year I intentionally went out on Black Friday to see, and for the first time in 10 years of doing it, no, not 10, 8 years of doing this, this last year for the first time, almost every space in front of a big box retail store was taken. Not the side part in front of the strip mall, right? And, we keep asking ourselves, because we have to build retention ponds, we have to deal with stormwater runoff, it creates just a tremendous impact and wastes density opportunities for development, right? So I guess what I'm driving at is I'd love to understand from the consultant where the 500 comes from and what is the maximum we could push that to? So if it's 300 for a parking space, what if we went to 600? Are we cutting the parking lot in half? Because at any given day when you drive out on the weekend, let's say, you go look at some of the bigger big box retailers, it's just sitting there.
I can definitely, I can have that conversation. I don't think that number was arbitrary.
Oh, I'm sure not.
I think it's probably leaning more toward what is becoming an industry standard, but when we do, we like to have that information prior to the final reading of something provided.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, industry standard scares me, right? Because industry standard developed, 6-lane thoroughfares and all this other stuff, which doesn't make it what we need. So yeah, hey, hats off to y'all for thinking in this direction. This is unbelievable that we have changed from, I remember 2 or 3 years ago, we were fighting a retail establishment that had to have X number of parking spots, and they said, we don't have 3 customers a day come in, but our ordinance was mismatched, and now y'all gone through, identified that, and made it better for a lot, not just the environment, but for development costs, for everything. So that's a great job. Thank you all. If you'll find that answer out, or just copy me on that email, I'd love to figure out where they're getting that number from.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you for presenting. Okay. If there's no further
Something else?
No, because I was just wondering about the space for the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, ma'am. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by nay? The ordinance carries. Item 11 on the agenda, first reading of ordinance 4328. The manager will publish.
To amend Hartsville City Code, Chapter Historic Preservation, Section 11-21, Design Review Guidelines for Cities Historic District, Subsection A, Cities Historic District 1, Historic Properties by the addition of 106 East Carolina Avenue and 154 Mantissa Road, Tax Map 056060259, 108 East Carolina Avenue and 152 Mantissa Road, Tax Map 056060236, 056060260, a portion of the former Southern Candy Kitchen, and subsection B, general criteria.
Okay, you've heard the reading title of the presentation. The reading by title and presentation of the city manager. This time, Chair will entertain the motion from the floor to adopt.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to pass ordinance 4328.
Is there any discussion? Okay, please, sir.
Is this, I noticed in like the blueprint, is this a joint venture, maybe this is, you might have asked this, so is this a joint venture between the Vaz and, I don't know, Eli's Candy Kitchen?
This would be for the building owner specific, not the business owner.
Okay.
Isn't that correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this has nothing to do with the business venture?
Just the
Right.
building and the land.
Yes.
I believe the building portion that she already owns is under it, or no?
Okay.
So the 110 that you just did for the property tax assessment was the first portion.
Right.
And the reason why she didn't ask for the remaining portions at the same time was because she was asking for historic designation for that portion for the Bailey Mill. And because the work had been done on the remaining portions prior, they didn't qualify. So she then is requesting the historic designation for the remaining portion of the building. So all 3 sections now, which are now divided, I think, into 5 sections, become into historic because the entire building was a former candy kitchen. It's just that the remaining portions, the portions that we're asking for the historic designation for, they do not qualify for the Bailey Bill because we can't make the retroactive.
Okay.
And just curious, what's Eli's Candy Kitchen? I wasn't here when it was around.
You don't know a chocolate covered on the At one point, it was the oldest family-owned business in town, just next door. And Johnny, correct me, the Sleevy's, one side was a men's clothing shop, the other was the candy kitchen, but it's kind of like a not a commissary.
Oh, yes. Roasted peanuts,
So that,
yeah, soda fountain, all of that. They used to have a roasted peanut machine. They had a roasted peanut machine that sat outside of it. And Lawrence Hope, who works with me, his wife is the last owner. She was at Emmons League. And they restored the roasted peanut machine. So if you meet Lawrence at Christmas every year, he gives out Eli's roasted peanuts. So if you like roasted peanuts, apparently that machine is like the last of its special kind, and they taste special because of that machine. So you have to try this. Yeah, it's neat.
Mr. Mayor, question for Ms. Karen there. Once this comes up with the assessment value changing and everything, you think that's going to be pretty smooth sailing, getting everything with the county? I know there's not a county portion of this, but for them to send out the notices correctly.
We just thought about assessment.
The tax assessor came to the ARB meeting, so he could learn more about it, because this will be the first one. So he's definitely aware and he's trying to figure out on his side how to make it work.
Wonderful.
It would be great if the county would also adopt it, so
Oh, I
make
agree
things a lot
100%. Every
easier.
time I see a county councilman, I encourage them to do that, because that's a great opportunity for anybody with historic property, old property.
Absolutely.
Jim, Mayor Pro Tempore is Tempore, if you're going to publish that vote for. Thanks for doing that on the record there, Chuck. All right, any further? Hearing nothing, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by nay. First reading of ordinance 43-28 passes. Chair Leonard, thank you for that.
thanks.
Congratulations again on reducing asphalt, or impervious. Chair will entertain a motion to enter executive session pursuant to South Carolina Code Freedom of Information Act, Section 30-4-70, Paragraph 8, Subparagraph 1 and 2, for discussion of boards, commissions, and committee appointments, and council committee appointments, city judges, and city attorney appointments, and for discussion of employment matter for potential new finance staff and receipt of legal advice, and for matters covered by attorney-client privilege relating to the annexation, covenant, public housing, and waterfront financing, and other matters protected by attorney-client privilege. Is there such a motion? All in favor, signify, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by nay. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll stand at recess for 5 minutes so we can